I proudly welcome all of you to Embracing Inclusion by BeUnic, a conclave designed to celebrate diversity, equality, and inclusivity.
How exactly the inclusivity has been playing a very, very important role, and how have you been implementing in your organization?
Through these 40 years, we've always felt very proud that we are a policy light and value heavy organization. I think it's very important for us as the leaders of change to talk less and do more.
Logistics has mostly been a very male dominated sector, and it's extremely hard for even women to even attempt to be part of the sector. So I think the advantage that we have is that we have a leader who is the biggest ally to the community, and that works in our favor.
But I think in India we are at a stage where we should talk also more. We should make everybody who are uncomfortable about it to talk.
Microsoft this year, our theme for Pride is Make Pride. So say for example, there is a lesbian couple who's adopted a child. They should be proud of it and go ahead and talk about it.
Is it fair to ask hiring managers to lower the bar a little to get diverse talent?
You want an honest answer? It's the same issue when women go for an interview. Oh, you're a female, you'll get the job. Why? Same. You've got to break the barrier yourself.
Financial depravity, lack of equitable resources within the community, especially for the trans community, is well realized. How can that gap be bridged?
We at City, for example, first year it only took us time to explain what these terms LGBT stands for. At 2023, we co-sponsored a research where the research paper spoke about accelerating trans inclusion. I sincerely believe education leads to inclusion.
We also need to now work with the community for education and skill development so that skill gap is addressed. I really feel that English communication, everything said and done, that is very important, and I think that should be something which needs to be the core when organizations are working towards employability of individuals from the community. Secondly is networking with people outside the community.
So when we talk to the talent acquisition folks, we tell them that don't lower your standards, but be cognizant of the fact that you're meeting somebody different. I personally have a lot of transgender folks in my area. They came with zero experience. They came with language barriers. 1 year down the line, I'm very, very proud and happy to tell you that they have grown, they've got promotions, they've got awards, and my risk paid off. It might not always pay off, but that's okay too. You still got to start, you still got to kind of show up. And not because I'm an out and proud leader, because I'm a human being who wants to help another human being.
Could you please define intersectionality? What is it? What has your experience been with it?
It's about fighting inequality within inequalities. It's about fighting discrimination within discrimination. And it's about protecting the rights of minorities within the minorities.
Kimberly Crenshaw, who herself is a black woman, she coined this term intersectionality to better understand the systemic oppression faced because of being a black woman. In the Indian context, it's about caste, it's about disability, it's about gender, it's sexuality, religion.
There's something called as minority stress that members of marginalized and underrepresented segments go through, and these stressors look like fears of rejection, internalized homophobia. One is something that is inside the individual, the other is that is happening day in and day out, where you see representation of the stigma that people have in their mind coming out and onto the individual.
I also feel like intersectionality needs to be seen not just with regards to marginalization or victimhood. Intersectionality also means that this person is coming into the space with a very rich array of experiences and ideas. Any kind of DEI initiative is never going to be perfect, and I feel like we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves for that, but there needs to be an intention to expand what you're doing.
I keep blocking, I keep shutting them down, but how do you deal with all the hatred that's coming online?
Every time any form of negativity came at me, my way of fighting it back was never acknowledging it. And when you don't acknowledge it, it stops existing. That's the easiest way to deal with it. Do not acknowledge hate, let positivity be shared ahead.
I have a very adverse approach to Anvesh. I validate and acknowledge every hate comment I get. Most of the times when haters write such comments, they think that, there is nothing coming back at them. And I love giving virtual slaps to people. That's my favorite job.
First thing is, I don't, kind of entertain those things, because if you'll open their profile, they don't exist for themselves. They don't have display picture. There's like fake profiles. We have built that community कि sometimes we don't have to go to those comments and see कि उसने ये लिखा है, we have to. Already लोग उनसे बहस कर रहे होते हैं. तूने ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया? ऐसा नहीं होता है. उनको लिंक्स भेज रहे होते हैं. नहीं, ऐसे होता है.
Building community is a very critical part of making the spaces bigger, inclusive. How do we create that?
And Tweet Foundation is a community-based organization, which is a 7-year-old organization. We started in a time when people were not open and out about themselves, about their gender expressions and identity. In 2019, we started a shelter home in Delhi. Then we started our shelter home in Mumbai because that Garima Greh was forming. We applied for that. We supported, in fact, we also supported government to form the norms and all. We take care of skilling, mental health, and physical health at same time under the shelter home.
It was amazing to see Rahul Upadhyay, who was one of our KSF fellows from 2020 batch. Then Yash Sharma, who just spoke at the last panel, was also our Keshav Suri Foundation fellow from this year's Pure Youth Leadership batch. It is purely you and your stories that have enabled us as an organization, us as individuals, come and speak on this forum. This is how, when we signed up for United Nations Standards of Conduct in 2016, when it just launched, we became one of the first hotels across the world to have signed up for that. And it is very important. Having gender accessible washroom and all inclusive washroom for that matter is extremely important, and we were able to launch it in 2016 when we only had one person who was openly transgender individual. And now we have hundreds of them working across the group. And I give it to the management, our respected chairperson, managing director, Dr. Jyotsna Suri, Mr. Keshav Suri, the entire leadership.
A community is just not one set of marginalized group. The community is when all of them can come together, right? When everybody has the same thought process and the belief that we can build a strong community and take everybody with us, along with us.
So, kinder hijra ka acceptance बहुत easily हो जाता है. For the only reason, because of 3 major facts. One is religion, second is the culture, third is the fear. मैं हमेशा बोलते हैं, देखो हमें accept मत करो, चलेगा. Don't accept us LGBT, only accept as a human being, that's it. इंसान समझो, तो इंसान के साथ human rights आते हैं, legal rights आते हैं, सब rights आते हैं. पहले इंसान समझो, बाद में सब कुछ समझना.